So Kevin Samuels died at the age of 57. If you don't know who Kevin Samuels is, he was a YouTuber who was real famous for giving out controversial relationship advice. And because of this, now some people are celebrating his death, and of course you have family members and friends who are mourning his death. Me personally, I don't care. I never was that into his content. Even though I wasn't a fan of him, I still did catch bits and pieces of his message. Some of the things that he said I agreed on, but for the most part I disagreed with him. Something that he preached about heavy was how modern women have unrealistic dating standards. Now this part I could say is actually factual. I do agree with him. Most modern women want a traditional man who pays all the bills, makes a certain amount of money, is a certain height, is a protector, a provider, and so on and so forth. Now these standards are absolutely reasonable, but most of these modern women saying that they want these things aren't being traditional women themselves. Now typically traditional women were nurturers. They tended to the household, they cooked, they cleaned, and they took care of the kids while the man was going out being the breadwinner. Traditional women were feminine and submissive. And when I say that word submissive, I already know women are automatically gonna get offended, but I don't mean submissive like a dog on a leash. I mean submissive by letting the man lead. It's just like driving a car. Two people can't be the driver in the car because you might be trying to go left while the other person is trying to go right. Somebody has to be the driver and somebody has to be on the aux cord. And typically, traditionally, men were the drivers and women were on the aux cords. But that's traditionally, and this is modern day. Most modern women want to be the driver and be on the aux cord and be the backseat passenger too, when most men just want women to be their backbone. If you ask most men what they want from a woman in a relationship, they'll say simple things like they don't want her to be overweight, maybe they don't want her to have like 3 baby daddies, and just to listen and be there to talk to. And in my personal opinion, I think that's very reasonable from the men. Both men and women have reasonable dating standards, but like I said, for women though, they have to understand that most things that they're judging men for, standards that they create, are based on things that men have no control over. Example, height. And most standards that men set for women are things that women can't control. Example, weight. And most women that aren't quote-unquote high value are looking for these quote-unquote high value men. Which brings me to one of Kevin Samuels' talking points, and one thing that I disagree with him on is value. Now typically Kevin Samuels would speak on high value men. Now according to Kevin Samuels, a high value man had to make like 10K a month or some shit like that. Now of course most men don't make that. Most men make between 30 to 40, maybe even $50,000 a year. So a high value man, quote unquote, according to Kevin Samuels, only 6% of men even make that. Now personally, I never place value on how much money somebody makes, and I don't think that you should neither, whether you're a man or a woman. Personally, I think that you should place somebody's value on the morals and principles that they stand on. Once you place somebody's value on the amount of money that they make or have, then it could be kind of misleading. An example of that would be Tekashi 6ix9ine or R. Kelly or maybe even Harvey Weinstein. According to Kevin Samuels, because these individuals have a certain amount of money, they would be considered high value, but personally I don't think that they're high value because of their morals and principles. Both Harvey Weinstein and R. Kelly were both known for being pedophiles. Tekashi 6ix9ine is labeled a snitch, but for those that don't understand those terms, basically he threw all of his friends under the bus for his own selfish gain. Another reason why I don't like to judge people's value based on the amount of money that they have is because we never know exactly what that individual had to do to get that money. As we can see, living in the technology and social media age, people throw away their morals and principles on a daily basis just for people to hit the like button. So it's definitely safe to say that people are 10 times more likely to throw away those same morals and principles if money's involved. Dave Chappelle once said that he was offered a bunch of money to put a dress on for a scene in a movie that he was shooting, and he refused to, no matter how much money is involved. An average person would have compromised all their morals and principles for that amount of money. And that's why I have to disagree with Kevin Samuels. Just because somebody makes or has a certain amount of money, that does not make them a high value person. Either way, whether I agreed or disagree with Kevin Samuels, that's neither here nor there. I just want to say rest in peace to him. My condolences go out to his family and friends, and we need to learn from his life. There was some negative and there was some positive in his life. That's what we need to be learning from. And that's not just him, that's with everybody. When somebody dies, what can we learn from the life that they live? But with all that being said, my name is Dre Static. I appreciate you for tuning in, and I also want to give a shout out to all the supporters. We made it to 800 subscribers. Make sure you go check out my music videos called Voices Never Heard. It's out now on all platforms. And I want to thank my people at Purist Label because we doing big things. They marketed and promoted this really well, and we doing pretty good numbers. But stay tuned, more fire content coming soon, and of course new music coming soon. And once again, my name is Dre Static. Make sure you like, hit the subscribe button, and also follow me on Instagram at Dre_Static. With that being said, I'm out.